You're live. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. Ian Dury. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. Episode 122. September the 30th. Tomorrow's October 1st. What the crap? Crazy. Crazy. It is Q4 tomorrow. The officially start of Q4. You got, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and September ends, and we have October, which is crazy. So here it goes. Last quarter of 2025. We survived 3 quarters so far. Can we survive the last quarter? It's in question. It's in question. I mean, right? Anyway... oh, my Heinz thing's up. Sorry, I'm bumping into it. Ow. Ow. Other side. Wait. Ow. All right, I'll turn that off. I have no pictures tonight. I did not get visual tonight. I got home late. I got a shower. I had some leftover steak. And I went to work. And here I am with stuff. So here's stuff. I switched it up a little bit. Remember, not in chronological order. This is history of music and entertainment throughout the ages, starting back with God knows when. I've gone back as far as Confucius, because do not do to others which you do not want them to have to do to you. Paraphrase that just a little bit, but I'm practicing Confucianism, trying to be a better human, being that everything around me seems to be in a swirl of crazy, crazy crap. So me personally, I'm trying to be a better human. Higher vibrations, manifestations. We'll see how that works out for me. All right. Let's start right with this. 1965, Donovan, British singer Donovan, makes his TV debut and plays the song Catch the Wind on Shindig. Now, Donovan, you're like, who the hell's Donovan? Now, Donovan, you know Donovan if you listen to music at all, if you're a music fan, because Donovan played a ton of music, okay? He did Mellow Yellow in 1966. It went to number 2. He did Atlantis, where it's sort of he talks in front of it. It's like, oh, Atlantis. That one. Sunshine Superman was number 1 in 1966. Season of the Witch, another one of his really big songs. And then the really weird, strange, kind of freaky song, Hurdy-Gurdy Man. Now, if you ever saw the movie Zodiac, that's in the movie Zodiac, Hurdy-Gurdy Man by Donovan. So that was his first TV appearance, was today, on September the 30th of 1965. In 1967, on this day, BBC One radio debuts. Now, it's not just a great, fabulous thing. It's because there was a really popular there was a very popular pirate radio station that the government decided that, well, we're just going to take you off the air because we're the government and you're pirate radio. And because the BBC saw that was so popular, they figured they'd capitalize that, and they created their own radio station called BBC One. Oh, you see how that works? Oh, wait, you're doing something that's making a lot of money and really popular? Well, we're just going to destroy it, and then we'll just redo it. It sounds like a familiar tale that I know. Wayback Machine, 18 months ago. Anyway, they forced him off the air, and the former pirate DJ, Tony Blackburn, was the first presenter on the new BBC One radio. Sounds like a familiar story to me. Way too familiar. 1968, the Supremes on Motown Records released their single Love Child. 1977, here it is. Ian Dury releases New Boots and Panties. It was released in the UK and goes platinum. But that's why I was singing. He sings those songs that you probably know. Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, and then Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. So that's Ian Dury. He played a bunch of different bands and blah, blah, blah. A lot of solo stuff. But yes, those are the 2 songs you probably have heard, potentially. potentially over the years. Please let us know how that works out for you. I will, Todd. I will. Oh, I saw your Confucius thing last night. That was funny. Thank you. I really enjoyed that. Yes. Bangkok. That was a good one. Got it. 1982, Bruce Springsteen releases his sixth solo with no backing band, Nebraska. Now, something funny about Bruce Springsteen, a funny anecdotal story from 2016. A schoolboy from Philadelphia who skipped class to meet his musical hero handed the teacher a different sort of absentee note. Apparently, this fifth grader went to the Free Philadelphia Library where Bruce Springsteen was in town signing copies of his autobiography, Born to Run. And he gave Bruce a typed letter giving the excuse for why he was missing class to meet him, and he signed it, and that's what he turned into the teacher. A typed letter autographed by Bruce Springsteen saying, please excuse me from being out of class today because I was meeting my hero, Bruce Springsteen. Signed, Bruce Springsteen. You got to give the kid credit, okay? I mean, you got to go for a creative. He actually had it autographed by Bruce Springsteen. Just saying. I would like to take credit for that, but I did not do it. But that's, you got to give him that. Bravo, fifth grade child from Philadelphia. 1987, Roy Orbison with Bonnie Raitt, Bruce Springsteen, Elvis Costello, Tom Waits, and K.D. Lang. Film a performance in the Ambassador Hotel, Coconut Room, Grove Club Hotel in L.A. for Cinemax for a black and white night. Just found that to be interesting. So I just saw that Elvis Costello is coming to somewhere here. Kappa, I think, is presenting at one of the theaters on October the 10th. And it's going to be a bunch of old stuff. So be sure to miss that one. But if you like Elvis Costello, I would definitely recommend going to see Mr. Costello on October the 10th. I think it's at the Palace Theater, presented by Kappa. Elvis is always a good time. Always good to see Elvis Costello. 1965, the Rolling Stones play the Gamut Theatre in Staffordshire, UK, with the Moody Blues. There was a whole bunch of other stuff that happened that I just said, you know what? That's the only important part that mattered. That big deal. They play with the Moody Blues. Okay, there you go. Okay, that was the BBC One thing, because I read through that very quickly. 1972, David Cassidy, not Sean Cassidy, David Cassidy, who is actually of the Partridge Family, David Cassidy, actor extraordinaire, actually gets a #1 song in the UK because they found out he could sing. We talked about that recently, that they all lip synced except for David later on. They found actually could sing, so they let him sing, unlike the Monkees, who actually were musicians and performers. The Partridge Family were not. None of them were musicians. None. Except for David Cassidy apparently could sing. So he actually got a #1 hit in the UK, a single, How Can I Be Sure? But it was a cover from the Young Rascals in 1967. I listened to it and I was just nothing. I was like, no, not even. I'm like, how did that even become #1? I don't know. 1967 was weird. The eclectic kind of musical sounds that we heard from Shadow Apache to David Cassidy. I don't know, man. 60s and 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Musical tastes were just all over the place. Like they are now, I guess. Just different musical tastes for different times. This one I found to be just... In 1974, the police were called to break up a fight between two sound engineers. The bands that were involved were Leonard Skinner and Blue Oyster Cult. Apparently, the two sound engineers got into a brawl because Leonard Skinner's sound engineer blamed Blue Oyster Cult's sound engineer for intentionally turning off their audio during their set, and literally got into fisticuffs where the police had to come and break up this fight. I mean, you got to give the guys passion. You know, they're basically roadies, so you got to give them passion for their bands that they're willing to throw down for it. Um, but I mean, oh, damn, I did it again. At least the lid was partially on tonight, so I only made a partial mess. Man, I just got to stop, I'm just too much using the hands all the time. But you got to give them credit, throwing down for the band. So, just saying. 1978 on this day, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John reach the second number one in the UK for Summer Nights from the movie Grease. We just talked about that the other day because Grease was released. Elton John, not Elton John, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, who just died recently, not recently, but her death was recently. The date, anyway, coincides with recently. It basically stayed at number one for 7 weeks, but then it got bopped out. It was the second best-selling album of the summer of '78, but it only got bumped out by one other song, Saturday Night Fever. Now, John Travolta was in that movie too, so that's kind of funny. There you go, John. 1993, Kate Pearson of the B-52s is arrested for criminal mischief and criminal trespass, apparently at an anti-fur rally outside of the Vogue offices in New York City. Miss Kate Pearson got a little too handsy and did some damage and was subsequently arrested for criminal mischief and then trespassing. Hey, fur is dead. Fur is dead. 1994, TAFKAP. Yes, that's what? TAFKAP, the artist formerly known as Prince. He launched the music channel VH1 in the UK officially, and he had his video as the first one for Dolphin. I looked at him like, what? I was like, no, I didn't even, I was just, missed that somehow. Just was not in my radar. Dolphin? I was like, okay. And if it was super popular and you're all excited about it, sorry, missed that one. Just screaming past me. 1995, Mariah Carey. 1999, Chris de Burgh. His website was crashed and then permanently closed because apparently on his guest book, the obscenities were so graphic and so prolific that they decided to close it. One of the entries was apparently a 2-letter or 2-word profanity that was repeated 3,500 times. I don't know what you did, Chris, but you pissed off everybody on your website there, buddy. And that guest book just had to go. That was the end of that. They crashed it and took it down. Well, you have to appreciate this. In 2003, Elton John auctioned off a bunch of his artwork at his London home. He raised nearly $2 million from said artwork. I thought that was really nice. Raised, it said. Raised $2 million. Oh, no. What did he do with the money? He used it to finance remodeling his London home with a more modern style. I was like, oh. I was like, he did something like, altruistic with it? No. Philanthropic with it? No. Totally just did it like, yeah, I'm going to sell this old crap and I'm going to buy some new crap. I was like, and why is this news? How is this benefiting you and me in any way, shape, or form, or making us feel better about ourselves, or even him? I'm like, okay, so a rich guy sells a bunch of expensive crap to buy more expensive crap. That's what I should have just said. And it was Elton John. I paraphrase. 2006, Justin Timberlake. 2007, Keith Urban. I'll actually go with this one just because. Keith Urban was injured in a motorcycle accident near his home while headed to an AA meeting. He blamed it on a photographer. I think that's the Princess Di excuse nowadays. It was the photographer. The photographer made me crash. Right? Is that how it worked? The photographer did it? I'm just saying. 2007, the Foo Fighters. Love them. They were number one in the UK with Echo Silent, Patience and Grace, their sixth studio album. It got 5 Grammy nominations. It did win the Best Rock Album of 2007. It also won the Brit Award for Best International Album, and it gave us such hits as The Pretender, Let It Die, and Long Ride. So, yeah, it was I listened through that on a little bit and listened to it. I'm like, yeah, it was a good one. And then, of course, I had to listen to some other Foo Fighters and just fell down the Foo Fighters rabbit hole. Because who doesn't love the Foo Fighters? I mean, you don't have to love the Foo Fighters. If you don't, it's okay. I'm not going to hold that against you, Todd. Todd probably likes the Foo Fighters. You must like the Foo Fighters too. But yes, I think they were good. Did I just lose my pen? I lost my pen. Oh well, I had a pen. Oh no, I don't want to end the stream. Stop. Me and my dropping the book. Anyway, we talked to the schoolboy from Philadelphia and Bruce Springsteen. In 2022, Ed Sheeran was sued by the estate of Marvin Gaye for $100 million. Apparently, it was believed that he stole without credit a copyrighted song from Mr. Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. It went to court. The holding company, which owned the rights to Gaye's estate, sued Ed Sheeran. In court subsequently, it was knocked down, and the judge, his basic thing was that he said that basic musical components should not be overprotected at the impairment of creativity and new song writing. The estate then sued him again. Supreme Court did not see it and upheld the lower court's version. So Mr. Sheeran did not have to pay any jack for that. Apparently he even played the song in court. He busted it out and actually played it live so they could hear the similarities or differences when it came to it. They said it was a landmark decision, opening up a lot more songs to copyright infringement because of the basic structure of a lot of a song's chords, which there aren't only so many, but inherently are what makes the songs famous or not. So we'll see. That only happened a couple of years ago. That was in 22, so that's been less than 3 years. 1985, The Clash released their single, This Is England. It was released from their 6th album, Cut the Crap, which was said to be crappy. Was not really given a lot of stuff. Not a lot of love for that one. Also on this day, 1977, The Who released Trick of Light from their 8th album, Who Are You? This was John Entwistle's song. They said that it did not rate, rank, or make any waves because it was too much. It was too loud. It was too aggressive. It was too everything. So it did not get to be ranked or rated because of that fact. That's what it was blamed on. That it was just too much, too everything. That the bass was so overwhelming you couldn't hear the other instruments and everything else. So I did not listen to that one today. Foos are okay. Not bad for a bunch of Nirvana leftovers. Fair enough. Fair enough. 1971, Mr. Isaac Hayes and the theme from Shaft. Waka 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 waka. Number 2. The single hit number 2 today on September the 30th in 1971. Now, they say that it was one of the very first disco songs. I don't know. Is that possible? Was it a disco song? I mean, maybe. I did listen to it and I was like, I guess it could be considered a little disco-y. I don't really think it was overly disco-y, but it could have been, I guess, one of the first disco songs. In 1972, it won an Oscar for the Best Original Song from the movie Shaft, of course. Isaac Hayes winning that Oscar because he wrote and sang the song. By doing that, he was the first African American to ever receive an Oscar in a non-cinematic role. So Mr. Isaac Hayes got the Oscar. So we got a couple of things toward the EGOT. Emmy, Oscar, Tony, Grammy. I don't know if he got all 4, but who knew? 1955, on this day, American icon and cult of personality James Dean dies. Yes, today is the day James Dean dies. He was killed in a car crash. I'm sure as everyone's aware of that. He was driving his Porsche 550 Spyder. He was actually on his way with his mechanic and being followed by a couple of other guys on his way to go and do another race because he got into racing after East of Eden. He got a bunch of money and bought a bunch of race cars, and this was his new Spyder. Apparently, he was ticketed at 3:30 p.m. for speeding, and at 5:45 p.m., a 23-year-old from Cal Poly pulled out in another sedan, a Ford something, I forget what it was called now. And basically Dean was going so fast he couldn't stop in time and slammed into this car. His passenger was ejected from the car, sustained minor injuries, but unfortunately James Dean died of his injuries, including a broken neck. Yes, it was a very gruesome death for Mr. James Dean. Woo! Not great. I'm going to fix this camera, so that's where you're going to get to see the whole big screen there of me doing something completely different. Oh, crap. That one wasn't turned on. So I went from a pretend black screen to an actual black screen because the camera didn't come on. But I just can't win for losing here. So yes, Mr. James Dean lost on this day in 1955. 1960. The Flintstones premiere on TV. Now, this one I didn't know. It was considered the first animated sitcom. Would you consider the Flintstones a sitcom? I don't know. I was like, really? A sitcom? I guess so. I mean, you had the neighbors, right? Barney and Betty. You had Wilma, the dog, the kids. I mean, the work. So maybe, but a sitcom. A situation comedy, animated, The Flintstones, 1960s. I don't know. I really had to think about that one. That one kind of caught me a little bit. I'm like, sitcom, really? All right. 1985, Howard Stern is fired from WNBC Radio in New York City. If you've ever seen the Stern movie, that was interesting. I watched that a few times over the years because I was in radio, so I found it interesting how, some of the radio people were portrayed. I definitely ran into my fair share of those people, that personality type. Even the WKRP in Cincinnati personality type, because, yeah, they existed. There was absolutely all of those people in there. Every single one of them. It's, you've got a face for radio, kid. 1991, tabloid TV has a new face, and it is Jerry Springer as he goes into syndication. Oh, Jerry Springer. I don't think he was as bad, or well, I don't know. They were all bad. I was just going to say Morton Downey Jr., but they were all crappy. I mean, it's just shock TV and for the sake of being crazy. That's one of the things I would probably never do. If I was invited to be like, oh my God, we want you on this thing for whatever, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. That just seems like, a bad idea because, oh, we've brought you on air for this purpose, but actually we're having you on there for this. Blindsided. Like, no, I saw this coming. I'm not going to do that. I would definitely avoid that at all costs because I don't know what they would do. 1954, the Brady Bunch, Greg Barry Williams is born on this day. Happy birthday to Mr. Brady Bunch. Also on this day was Fran Drescher, born this day. Eric Stoltz, remember Eric Stoltz from Pulp Fiction? When he was screaming about, where's the medicine book? And Truman Capote, Breakfast at Tiffany's. There was a movie that, what's his name, portrayed as Truman Capote. It was interesting. I forget what the actor's name was now. He died too. Plus the Flintstones had the Great Gazoo. It's true. And they did have the Great Gazoo. Isn't that the kind of like Mork and Mindy, so it makes it a sitcom? I guess so. Yeah, they did have the Great Gazoo. That's true. But that was later. I mean, isn't that the old thing though? When you have to start adding characters, it's the downfall. So they added the Great Gazoo. Was that sort of as it was like, in the waning years of Flintstone-dom? I don't know. So I don't know. Deaths on this day besides James Dean, Catherine Eddowes and Elizabeth Stride, both victims of Jack the Ripper. Ew. Who knew? You always read about stuff and I always forget, that's actually was a real dude. There really was Jack the Ripper. That was a real guy, killing all those prostitutes. Just, yeah, okay. Good to know. And again, something getting named after you. Left this planet and has shed his mortal coil on this day. Charles Richter. Someone had to invent that scale, so I guess it might have been him. He was a physicist and he invented the Richter scale. That's how we tell the strength of earthquakes. And I have not talked about earthquakes in a while because they just seem to happen a lot. We're just waiting for the big one, right? We're in Ohio. I'm in Ohio at least. You may not be, but I don't think I have to worry about it. Unless it's, like a super volcano, then we're all done. 1997, unknown male alligator. Yes, that's what it said. Male alligator, unknown. I guess it was the largest alligator in Florida, over 14 feet, killed on this day, September 30th in 1997. I don't know, man. I'm just telling you. I just find something about life and death. And that just seems to be one of those deaths. Also today we lost Pete Rose. Oh, Pete, you gambling fool. Banned for life from the Hall of Fame because he gambled. Gambled on baseball, the sport he loved. Oh, Pete. It's an addiction. It is, people. Come on, Also on this day we lost Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. I always figured if I ever got called to do a Monty Hall Let's Make a Deal, I would win because I always have all sorts of just crap in my pockets. I've got a golf tee and a paper clip, and I've got a toothbrush, and I've got a Band-Aid, and I have a golf ball, and I have a flashlight that you just squeeze and makes it work. Just having random crap in my pocket. I always figured Monty Hall, let's make a deal. That was kind of my impetus for it. Never be caught unprepared with things in your pockets. Okay, and then just, you know what? I found some quippy little facts that I thought were interesting. Today, September 30th, is the date of the shipwreck of Robinson Crusoe. This is when he was shipwrecked, on September the 30th. Also, on this day, the last episode of Howdy Doody, even that's before my time, just FYI, okay? But anyway, on the last episode of Howdy Doody, the clown Clarabelle apparently was silent, never spoke, not a word during any episodes ever. On the last episode, at the end, Clarabelle apparently whispered, "Goodbye, kids." Creepy? That's nightmare fuel. I mean, clowns are creepy enough, right? But then to have the clown whisper, "Good night, kids." Yeah, they're just freaking out going, "Ah, Clarabelle spoke and said good night." I just, yeah. I don't think clowns are like, I don't have like, any character jumping sharks, then it's the end of the show. Correct. Fonzie. Yeah, I don't have like, those phobias of clowns, but yeah, they're still creepy though. It just, dude, really? Clown? No. John Gacy? No. Pass. And lastly, this one I found to be really 2024. The UK shuts down and ceases operations of their very last coal-fired power plant. So no longer does the UK use coal. How's that for you? The first modern, the first modern major country to do that. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I guess I didn't look what they're using, like natural gas, nuclear, what? But they still need electricity. And, I don't think it's solar because they don't have a whole lot of sun there from what I hear. At least that's what we're told, right? Maybe it's all a lie. It's all lies. Everything. It's fake news. Okay. So let's see. What's going on this week? Anything exciting? It's Tuesday, and I knew that because the green garbage cans were out. I always know that. Oh, wait, that's right. I have to get up on ridiculously early tomorrow morning because I have to go deal with the bomb squad. That is correct. So the bomb squad will be doing a practice with their canines, sniffing out bombs at the old station building. So I will see what I can do. If I can maybe get an interview with one of the handlers, with one of the dogs. You're not supposed to disturb them, so I don't know. Maybe they'll let me film a little bit of it. But I hope to have some capture of the civic-mindedness of myself to do good things and help keep us safe by allowing the bomb squad to use the building for some dog training and reconnaissance of what they need to do in their normal jobs to keep us safe from said bad people and bad actors. So I'll be up bright and early. So if I look exhausted tomorrow night, that's the reason why. Because I'm going to get no sleep tonight and have to get up way too early tomorrow morning. But that's all right. We have to do those things. Anyway, I'm going to go because I'm going to go to bed. I'm not going to watch TV tonight. Well, maybe a little bit. But I'm going to bed relatively early. Not my normal 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's true. It really is. But I will maybe go to bed a little earlier tonight because I do have to get up ridiculously early tomorrow. So I appreciate you, as always, for sticking around at this late hour and maybe learning some interesting facts about the music world and things that you may or may not care about. That's how it goes. Besides that, it's Tuesday. It's episode 122. Tomorrow will be Wednesday, October the 1st. Don't forget, when you wake up in the morning, first thing, say rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Or at least say rabbit, rabbit. It's supposed to bring you good luck or something. I don't know. Somebody did it forever. And I just picked it up and I say rabbit, rabbit when you wake up. Actually, I say it 3 times typically. When I remember. So it's usually like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, wait. First, rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Anyway, that's that. So have yourself a stupendous evening, remainder of the evening, and have yourself a fantabulous Wednesday and all that good stuff. I will look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow, and I'll try to do this as good as or better than I did tonight because, pilot error once again. I don't think I've gotten through 122 days without mistakes yet. It's always something, kids. It's always something. Remember, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Fade to black. Talk to you soon. Jumping sharks. Come on. Man, poor Fonzie. Jumping sharks.